Hey everybody, it's Eric from epautos.com. I'm going to do a quick little walk around here of this new Audi A3 TDI. Currently, it's the only entry luxury sports sedan that's available with a diesel engine, and it gets phenomenal gas mileage. The EPA gives this thing 43 on the highway, but if you read some of the news accounts, you'll find that some people are getting these things into the 50s, and I can tell you that no matter how hard I drove the thing, I had a tough time ever getting it to average less than about 38 miles per gallon, and that's really, really good, average. This thing's city mileage is about as good as what you get in the Mercedes CLA 250 on the highway. Now you might ask the question, and I bring this up in the review, well, who cares? After all, this is a luxury brand car, and it's a fairly expensive car, about $33,000 or so to start. And people who buy higher-end cars like that probably aren't too concerned about fuel economy, and that's absolutely true. But it's a nice perk, and it also gives you a lot of legs, a lot of range. You can go about 600 miles in this car on the highway, and that works out to about 8 hours straight of driving if you can hold your bladder. And that's kind of luxurious in and of itself, in that you really don't have to stop as often for gas. Typically, if you drive as much as I do, you'd probably be filling up 3 times a week, or 3 times a month rather than 4 times. That's pretty good. And let's look at some other things about this A3 that are laudatory. One of which is the back seat. I was startled when I checked the specs of this car before I began doing my write-up, and discovered that the A3 has 8 inches more back seat legroom than you'd find in the Mercedes CLA, which is a good-looking car, but those back seats are effectively unusable. It's basically a 2-door, 4-door. Just want to show you something here that you may not have seen in other reviews, but now I'm a 6'3" guy. I'm about 200 pounds. And I have the front seat set for me. So front seat is positioned for somebody who's 6'3" and about 200 pounds. And now I'm going to sit my 6'3", 200-pound self back here. Okay, now as you can see, I've got decent room here. You know, for a tall, big geek like me, this is a viable car, even though it is a compact. Now, another competitor, the Acura ILX, has about the same, a bit less, but about the same back seat room. However, there's no diesel available in the Acura. And the other thing is that you can get all-wheel drive in the A3, and that's not available in the ILX. Let's look and see a few other little detail things about the car. Something I mentioned in my review that's kind of remarkable is that even though this is a diesel, believe it or not, this thing doesn't diesel too much. I drive new cars every week, so I've noticed that the new crop of direct gas injected engines, and that's pretty much everybody, tick, 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 at idle. Oops. Just like a diesel. And meanwhile, the diesels have actually gotten to be quieter than the gas engines in some respects. You turn it on and you really don't hear much of anything. It's quite remarkable. You may have noticed how this screen popped up. That's your flat screen for your infotainment and your GPS. The CLA and a lot of other cars also have something like that, but in the CLA it's fixed. This pops up when you first turn the car on, but you can also push that button and it'll go down, and it doesn't turn it off, it just puts it out of the way if you don't want to have it in your face. Push that button again and it goes up. And let me show you, here's the multimedia interface, and we'll go to the main menu. And we will scroll over to navigation. This has the enhanced version of it, which includes Google Earth mapping and 3D viewing. You probably won't be able to see it too well because this little crappy camera of mine doesn't have high resolution, but if you're familiar with Google Earth, it operates virtually the same way. You get a highly detailed topographical map right there. So detailed, in fact, you can see your neighbor's house, you can see his car parked in the driveway. It's phenomenal technology. It's a little bit creepy technology because, after all, you know, they could probably watch you while you're trying to figure out where you're going, or they can keep track of where you've been and all of that. I think this is a nicely laid out, stylish interior. I like the analog gauge cluster here. It's not a programmable, configurable LCD screen. That kind of thing has gotten to be very popular. This is effective and simple. You've got redundant thumb controls here. You rotate this little knob and you push on it if you want, and you can operate most of the systems that are operable through here or through here as well. One of the very few things that I'm going to complain about is here in the center console. Audi, and this is true of Volkswagen too, because of course Volkswagen and Audi are the same company. The this little thing, I don't know what you call this. I call this a dongle. I have this Fitbit thing here, and the Fitbit comes with a dongle. This is your connector for your external media player, and it's proprietary, meaning that it's unique to Audis and Volkswagens, and it's just a weird little thing. They don't have a universal input like you'd find in pretty much any other car. And the other thing is, look at how it's positioned. I mean, I don't know how you are supposed to manipulate this sucker while you're in the car. I mean, I guess you can leave the dongle hanging out and you can probably close that, but then you've got this little stupid dongle thing flopping around, and it's not really very good. There is also, I'm trying to position the camera so you can see it, there's your cell phone charger, but look at that. And again, how are you supposed to, I mean, I'm trying to take the video here and I can hardly reach my fingers in here to get it, and it's right next to this thing, so you know, you're trying to get it. So that's hideous. I don't know what the heck they did with that. And they've got all this space right here, and it's just empty. Here's your 12 volt power point right here, and this is empty. Why not have the little hookup right here for your USB port and your cell phone charger? Anyway, that is pretty much the extent of my complaining about the car. One other thing, for the 2016 model year, on a kind of a staggered rollout, they are going to bring out a wagon version of this called the Sportback. And that's good news. It'll be neat to have that. But it looks like they're not going to offer this TDI engine in the Sportback. It'll only be available with the gas engines. And the same goes for the two-door convertible, the Cabriolet. That's a gas engine only deal. But overall, I really like this car because I'm a big fan of the diesels. And if you're in the market for something that's got incredibly long highway legs, that's really quiet, that has a decent back seat in a compact car, and can be had with all-wheel drive, you're probably going to want to take a look at this. Anyway, thanks for viewing, and we will catch up with you next time.